Hello, Jess. How are you?
Hello, Jason. I'm good. How many times do you think you've said that every Friday?
A lot. Hey, guess what today is? J12.
Today is J12. Holy cow.
J12, June 12th.
Is that what we're going to do from now on? J12 and
No, I don't think so. But
yeah.
it is
But
J12.
today is J12. It's a very big deal.
Jessica Harvey's on time today. Oh my gosh. We should do we have any emojis? We need some music. Oh, Aiden's here. Awesome.
Yes.
Dennis is here. Yeah, well, it's bet it I'm not going to even
Sick.
comment on Steve's comment about J6, J12. What everyone can just read the chat. Heather's here, Heidi's here, Dorothy's here from Brussels, Brian's here from Maryland. Put in the chat where you guys are from. Hopkins, Minnesota. I am in Minneapolis today, and it is a gorgeous day.
It's so nice.
I think if anyone was trying to order a perfect day, which I might have been trying to
You might have.
it is definitely a perfect day.
It is a good day to throw a party for a few hundred people.
It is, which is what I'm doing.
I can't believe you're allowed to be in your house right now.
I'm sorry.
I can't believe you're allowed to be in your house right now.
I'm in a little bit of a corner. 91 in Florida, Hudson, Ohio, Franklin. Oh, it looks like a nice day everywhere.
Wow. I love it.
Oh, home of Schultz,
Schlotz beer.
Schlotz beer.
Where is Hams from? Isn't Hams from Milwaukee as well?
Hey, has anyone ever had Bapples? Have we talked about Bapples before on here?
I don't think so.
Do you know what Bapples are? We'll see if anyone knows what Bapples are. Bapples are Bush Light apple.
Oh, yes, you did bring that up.
And it happens to be the drink of choice for people who aren't old enough to drink at the moment. So I don't know if you remember, at least in my day, Jess, there was Bartles and James and Zima.
I remember Zima.
Yes, now it's Bapples.
Oh, did anybody else put a Jolly Rancher in their Zima, or was that a North Dakota thing?
Jolly Ranchers.
Weird. We did weird stuff in North Dakota.
Wow.
Oh my God, Zima.
I wonder if Heather her husband loves the Bapples or Heather loves the Zimas.
Yes, which Heather? Which does your husband love that we just talked about?
Suzanne said
we did in Ohio. Okay, Ohio are my people.
Yeah. Wow. I never heard of Jolly Ranchers in a drink like that. That's what you did?
I don't know if I ever did it, but the friends that I knew were always popping one into the top of their Zima, and it gave it a little flavor.
Oh, Haribo gummies. Wow, I just had a Haribo gummy on that sounds like a THC thing. I just had Haribo gummies on the Delta flight the other day.
Oh, you chose
I had no idea they were from Racine, Wisconsin. Wow, I really got us off on some weird.
I know, we always do this.
So anyway, happy Friday, everyone. Great to have you here. Thank you for joining Now of Work Digital Meetup, episode 311.
Wow.
Yeah, it keeps growing. We keep getting older. The number keeps going up. So episode 311, and really, really excited about our guest today, and really, really excited to talk first with the community, kind of about how your week has been. So I always start with green, yellow, red. Green, great. Yellow, so-so. Red, not so good. And Megan got all excited.
Megan's here.
I'm over on my little screen here in my office. I'm watching the SpaceX ticker. If anyone's got SpaceX, you're probably a little bit green at the moment, because there's a lot of green on the screen over here. But yes, lots of greens. Green, green, green.
I love it. You know, I tend to believe people are greener we do this on a Friday, and I hope people end the week on a green note, on a high note. John, you are here. I heard that John might not be able to make it today, but I'm glad you're here, John, and we're certainly thinking about you always. Yellow, but only because of you all. Otherwise, I'd still be red. Okay, so yellow is a good thing for Jessica. We're going to take that. I love it.
Yeah, like what? I wonder what we could do to. We probably can't make her green. I could sing.
We do have. I have an idea. We can make her
Well,
green.
I'm
In
just a girl. Is that No Doubt, by the way?
Yes.
I see. We might talk about No Doubt later, but I just wanted to start. I just did a tease of No Doubt.
That's a good tease.
It
And
was, and are you impressed that I actually?
got to hear you sing today.
Yeah, exactly. Jess, how are you? Green, yellow, red. Steve's yellow. I guess that's what that big yellow square is.
Yeah, I know.
Lynn,
Where did you find that, Steve? I like it. I mean, I don't like yellow, but
someone's gonna now. Yeah, look at that. They're both gonna take someone's gonna make a clip of the fact that I just sang that.
no, I hope so. Somebody clip that. I'm gonna go with green. You know, sometimes I'm defiantly green, Jason, even though there are hills and valleys throughout the week. I had a little blip this week, but all good. I'm gonna go with defiantly green for my week. How about you?
My week has been great. I am green. I am green all around, except, well, I'll ask you a question. I have a question for you in a second, but I'm green and had a great day and a half in San Francisco. I'm not sure if we have anyone that was there in San Francisco with me, but so first of all, I had the opportunity to be on stage with Meg Bear and Amy
Oh,
Wilson, which
yes.
are two of my. I mean, I have a lot of favorite people, but two of my favorite people. I think they're both amazingly brilliant women,
Mhm.
and that was definitely one of the highlights of my week. Was spending time with them. I think. Well, Meg's been on. I don't think Amy's been on. We'll have to get Amy on the show sometime.
I know. What the heck? Oh, actually, you know what? It's been a really long time. I think she was still CPO.
We should have them both on,
That's
probably.
a
Yeah.
great idea. A
Yes.
mashup of the two shows.
Yes, exactly. That would be so much fun. But anyway, I had such an amazing time with them in San Francisco. Yeah, so I'm green. But my question for you is, I was following. I follow you on Instagram,
Yeah.
and like last night it was like not nice weather. Like it was kind of rainy, windy.
Yeah.
I would say it was 65. But I saw a picture of you on a paddleboard.
Oh, that was last week's picture.
Oh, it was just an old picture. I was like, wow, she is brave. Because like it was a bit last night, it would have been like whitewater rafting if you were actually on the paddleboard.
They probably wouldn't have sent us out last night. But I will tell you, Bailey was pitching in that weather last night, and they couldn't even hold on to the ball.
Oh, wow.
They
Yeah.
played through. So that's where I was when I was Instagramming. I was videoing Bailey, and then I was like, oh.
Yeah, all of a sudden I see this picture of you on the lake, and I was like,
I was wishing I
that
was on a
can't be right now.
I
Oh,
know.
Eric just put a link to the Meg and Amy show. I love the fact that you shared that. Meg and Amy, that show is a great show also for those of you that podcast listeners,
Yeah.
podcast listeners out there. So good. It looks like we've got mostly green, some yellow. John, in thoughts. The next thing we do is one big thing. One big thing, you guys, this week that you accomplished, that you're proud of, that you want to share, that changed your life, that would change other people's lives if you shared. Please put it in the chat. I recently had Jess. Megan had Jess on the show. It's interesting. I've never been invited, but that's okay. I'm just kidding. Yeah, so one big thing. Talk about your one big thing. And Leo just put his one big thing in there, and I'll read his as you guys are putting yours in. Please participate. We don't do anything. This doesn't get like shared to the world. We don't put this in an AI model, et cetera, et cetera. Leo, I've been considering applying to be a member of an important board in my recovery community. Oh, no. I spoke to my mentor who supported me and helped me get sober. So I sent in my application a long shot at best, but I'm going to be on a mic in front of a lot of others who are like me.
Oh.
Leo, thank you it takes a lot to share that. So thank you for sharing that. Liz, I wrapped up my current job well before starting my new job next week. Wrapped up my current job well before start. I don't know if she did a good job or if she did it well before she started her next job. But I think maybe she did it well. One big thing, my air conditioning broke. McRae's in Charleston, South Carolina, which I think feels like 110. So Hope you have a fan. First blood transfusion Wednesday. John, I'm so glad you're here. I can't even believe you're here. But once again, in thoughts, finally getting some interviews and calls back from applications. Richard, I think that the job markets are changing so rapidly. I'm not going to say anything negative or positive about them, except that there's a lot of change. And I will just say the number of people that have reached out to me asking me, not wanting to hire me, of course, but asking me, I don't know why I said, of course. I don't think I'm actually hireable, Jess. I'm not employable. I don't think anyone would ever ask me. I don't know if anyone would ever hire me. I think that's why I said, of course. But like people reaching out to me asking if I know anyone looking for roles and things like that, that has definitely picked up. My husband and I got back out playing open mics as a guitar duo. Oh my gosh, that is so cool.
These are so cool. Always.
Yeah, great week of interviews with my potential MP. Oh my gosh, I've lost. These are so good. Losing track. San Diego 2027 Board of Directors. Love that, Megan. Thank you. 36 high school sophomores across the state discovering their agency. I just returned from a lifetime trip to Japan. Oh my gosh, these are all so good. What the heck?
Wow.
These are amazing. Jess, I can't even read them all. I'll let you guys.
I love it. Look at Lynn is laughing. My son sent me a text quoting the head of Red Lobster, saying he wants to make the seafood chain the most AI forward restaurant company that exists. My son asks, I want that to mean a little lobster robot would take my order and then scuttle off to the kitchen. And Aiden is writing. Yes, I love that you launched your newsletter, Aiden. I cannot wait to follow and read every word. Tammy, able to see my 19-year-old son in his element at his summer job. Oh, goes to school at the Colorado School of Mines, which is managing the FanFest Coca-Cola sponsor booth. I'm like, woo, that is cool, Tammy. I love that. And Eric, you're presenting these. Jason, this is like a gold mine.
It is. I assume that's Unleash in Paris, right?
Oh, maybe.
I assume. So that means he'll probably be with you in Paris, right, Jess?
I love it. I love it.
Aiden, we're going to have to get a link to your
share it
newsletter if it's ready. Dennis eradicated the word failure from IRAM's vocabulary and replaced it with deferred. Love that. Thank you for sharing that.
Deferred Dennis. Success.
Dennis runs an amazing organization called IRAM that I just have to say something really quickly about IRAM. I was a member of IRAM back when I was 20 years old.
Wow.
So that means like 10 years ago. IRAM changed my life. IRAM stands for International HR Information Management. And
that is an old school association name.
International HR Information Management. And it's an amazing group of amazingly talented people. And like literally, I've been a fan forever. I was on the board. It's definitely had its, like all associations have had its bumps and bruises. But Dennis is doing a great job leading it. So
I love that.
IRAM.org for those of you that are interested. And Dennis is doing a great job of putting out some thought leadership work in the space as well. So anyway, sorry, a little bit of a plug for IRAM. I love it. Graduated 6 of 8 kids last week and then launched kids, all flew, drove home. Heart is full, and I miss you all and this weekly meetup. Lori, thank you for saying that. That's very sweet.
I love that. Wow. Very cool. Okay, I'm going to rush through my one big thing, Jason.
Yeah, I will rush through mine because we have an amazing guest on.
We do have an amazing guest. I will just say I'm super proud of our team as we continue to grow and bring offerings to market. Fast but slow, like carefully, but at the speed of
Just what's that thing on your neck, by the way?
I can't go fast with this interruption.
Oh, sorry. Like I know it was just shaking.
Oh, now this weird camera. This is my necklace. I don't think you you need to be exposed to cool jewelry and like funky. It throws you off.
Yeah, but what's that? It's like a tassel or something.
Yeah, you guys like it's the leather tassel and like the metal necklace and the yeah.
Where does one get that?
Who knows?
Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt. Sorry.
Oh my gosh. Thank you, McCrae. I'm super proud of our team. We're doing really cool work, and it's fun to see McCrae and Rachel and others get as nerdy, geeked out, as excited as we are about what we knew we were going to do. And we're doing it and building the teams. And that makes me so, so happy.
Yeah, no, I think that's great, and I totally agree with you. They're doing amazing, overall. Or I mean, it's fun building together.
Yeah.
Like I've never had so much fun in my life. It's fun building together.
I think that's what made me think of this because we literally say such nerdy things in our Slacks, like Rachel the other day, like, I'm having so much fun. Like,
Oh yeah,
you're doing
well, yeah.
something
I mean,
good.
yeah. She just put even though she's a Knicks
She
fan.
didn't even know.
That has been an issue this week. Not that I'm jealous or anything, but yeah, my issue with this whole Knicks thing, I'm going to talk about this really quickly and then we'll move on. It's just the number of people who have never been Knicks fans that now
That happens every year with every championship. Like, there's only 2 teams, so you have to pick one of them. You probably haven't been like a forever like. Who else? You got to pick somebody.
Yeah, but you don't all of a sudden pretend you've been a fan forever and like, oh yeah, let's love the whole team.
Jason and is so mad about this.
I've been waiting 50 years for the Knicks to win, and like I've been living every day of my life waiting for the Knicks to win, et cetera, et cetera. Yes, bandwagoners, or as my son calls them, LARPers. LARPers. It's a bunch of LARPers.
See the Taylor Swift of the Knicks now.
Yes, yes, and Rachel wore a Knicks sweatshirt this morning for our first meeting, just to do this. So, anyway, the World Cup, World Cup starting tonight. It's going to be live at our grad party tonight because there's a lot of people. Wow, sorry, you guys, I'm done. So my one big thing this week, I'll just share it really quickly, is I had an opportunity to present to about 600 people at a conference called HR West. HR West is a division of HR.com. And I had the opportunity to give one person, well, I gave more than one hug, but one person a huge hug, and that was Deb McGrath. Mm. And Deb McGrath has been a lifelong, I've been a lifelong fan of Deb McGrath. First of all, she's the person that owns the domain hr.com, which is interesting in itself.
Told us on this show she bought for $10,000 like 20 years ago.
Yeah, which is crazy, hr.com. But second of all, like Deb has been working her whole life for the HR community. And, you know, as much as we talk about other things other than HR on this show, to give her a hug and to like say thank you for A, having me, but then B, everything she's done for the community, like that is by far my one big thing for the week. So I think she's amazing.
Very, very cool. Yeah, there's some people that spend their whole career in this space. Well, you're one of them, Jason, like who literally helped shape the industry. But I agree, Deb is one of those people to thank for sure.
And behind the scenes, a lot of people don't know Deb. It's not like she's out there being an analyst. She's not out there speaking and things like that. But what she does, she has a community of 200, 300, 400,000 people that consume their content. And anyway.
Yeah.
Definitely a Hall of Famer in our space.
Yeah, for sure.
I'm just a girl.
Oh my gosh. Was it time to bring Don on?
It is, exactly. And then maybe we'll figure out why I'm singing, or maybe I'll just look like a complete idiot because
he might choose to leave you hanging on that one.
I have a feeling he's going to. I have a feeling he's just going to hang me out to dry on that. But maybe you can talk a little about our guest while we're bringing him on.
Well, number one, I can't believe that we're getting Don today, the famous Don Shuerman. Because you are literally fresh off the heels of your massive annual event, Don, right off of the stages at Pega World in Las Vegas. So thank you for saying yes to this timing. But I love that we get to ride the wave of the energy that you guys had in Vegas this week.
I'm just excited to be here, and I'm still riding that energy. So it's a good time to talk.
Don, how's Vegas? Is it changed?
Well, Vegas has always changed. You know, we're at the MGM Grand. Last year, the Tropicana was next to our hotel. This year, it's the beginnings of the new athletics baseball stadium. So,
Oh, wow.
like very, very quick.
Some of us remember, and Don, I mean, I'm a lot older than you, but some of us remember when Vegas was going to be Disneyland, like kid friendly. Remember that?
Oh yeah.
And
When I first started my career, one of my first consulting jobs was working for Citibank, and they had a big card processing center outside of Las Vegas, and we would go and we would stay at the Rio Hotel, which was then the new hip thing. I actually went back to the Rio this past trip. It's no longer new and hip. That's all I can say. But they had the carnival that would hang from the ceiling, and it was like animatronics dancing around, and it was like kind of like kid Disney, at that period.
Don, my first company that I started, not everyone knows this story, but we had a company meeting, and being a startup, we did it at the Palms. If you remember the Palms.
Oh yeah.
I admit maybe it's still there, maybe it's not. I think we were at $19 a night, and that included the steak and breakfast, et cetera, et cetera. But one of our employees was invited to Mark Cuban's room. Not the way that sounded, but
to the suite.
The suite where he actually had a full basketball court.
Oh, wow.
Things like that. So it's crazy to think about Vegas. And it's funny when it was going. Yes, it was the Maloof family. Thank you, Liz, for saying that. It's funny how it was going to be a kids thing. And the last time Jess and I were there, I remember we were walking out of Unleash, and I was like, those are the adult dancers out there handing out cards like they're nothing.
Yeah.
We clearly gave up on the kids thing and went back to the adult thing.
But people still bring their kids to Vegas.
And the $15 a bottle of water or something like that as well. So sorry, Don.
Yeah.
So, Don, I'm so happy that you're here, and I know you'll share with us a couple of the big themes that you probably spoke about in Vegas this week, and what you're doing at Pegasystems is so fascinating and relevant for where we are right now in this timeline of history. But before we even get to that, true or false, we have this agent in Slack. His name's Victor, if we're giving agents names, and he does our guest prep for us.
Did you say if we're giving agents names? Like, you probably just offended him.
Victor? I know, Victor's probably typing me right now. Victor told me, Don, actually, I think I already knew this, that you did 20 years of improv comedy and credit that for some of your career success. Is Victor correct?
Victor is absolutely correct, and it's probably more than 20 years. More importantly, I credit it with how I met my wife, which is the most important factor in all of that. So we were both performers at an improv place in Boston called Improv Boston. And I spent about a little over 20 years there performing pretty much almost every Friday and Saturday night. And, the skills you pick up in improv, both in terms of public speaking skills, which is always a handy skill to have, but also I think just in terms of being able to listen to people and being able to put yourself in other people's and other characters' shoes, in being comfortable in moments where you don't know what the F is going on. Like those things I think are really, really useful, especially with what's going on in the job market and the tech world today.
We've never needed so much translation. So do you find yourself using improv skills like yes and in every business conversation?
Absolutely. I mean, the importance of being able to, like, I do a lot of sales conversations, right? And it's sometimes when you're talking to clients, you get objections, right? The easy thing to do is want to kind of turn around and push back and start explaining to them why they're wrong. But if you can jujitsu that a little bit, if you can be like, yes, that is a really legitimate concern, and let's talk about how we address it, right? Now, all of a sudden, we've shifted the conversation and we're problem solving together, and it just opens up, so much more time.
Yeah.
Don, one of the people I was with in San Francisco, Amy Wilson, said the new golden job. She actually had a slide that said the golden job was translator. And basically from like all of the stuff that's going on in one side of our world to how do you make sense of it from a human side. And I think that skill, the ability to do that is such, like, if I could teach that skill to everyone, that would be the skill. And I think that improv does an amazing job of making you learn that. It gives you the stage.
Well, and it's interesting you say that, because I've now been saying for a couple of years that even my title is CTO, and more than anything, it means Chief Translation Officer. It means, how do we translate what all this crazy tech stuff means to actual business people, actual business value, actual skills, right? So I think translation and being able to translate and being able to facilitate conversations between groups is one of those skills that is absolutely vital and isn't going away.
Don, what? Just sorry. Now he's got me. Like, that was why do you think? Do you think that all CTOs think that way, and they're just misunderstood? Or, and I don't mean to put you on the spot, but I talk to a lot of people who say, I can't get through to my CTO, or my CTO speaks another language, and all they do is slow things down. So I love that you brought this up, because it's fun to talk to a real live animal.
Well, and I will admit, I think I am probably maybe a little bit different beast than some CTOs, because I've spent my whole career with one foot in technology and one foot in our go-to-market side. So working with our clients, working with our sales teams, working with our delivery teams. I have the unique job now of being a CTO who also runs marketing. Which is a really kind of but interesting, but also increasingly, I think, relevant, because marketing is increasingly becoming a system architecture as much as it is a sort of people architecture and a creative architecture problem. But I think that good CTOs need to be able to actually sit as that translation layer, need to actually be able to understand how to translate what the business needs into tech, especially now, because we can basically build whatever you want, right? I mean, anybody now can go to Claude Code and build something, generate some code. So the far more interesting question becomes, how do you build the right thing? Right? And how do you get alignment, especially if you work at a large organization? It's easy for one person to go off and build something over the weekend. It's really hard to get 20 people in a room to agree what you actually need and what you want to build. And that ability to listen and find consensus, that skill, just whether it's in the CTO, whether it's in, an analyst role, that skill becomes so vital, I think, today.
I think it becomes even more important. Like, it's become so easy to build stuff so fast. Like, that's the barrier to entry, and then the cycle time is so compressed. I think it becomes even more critical. And I hate to say, like, you almost have to build something a little bit boring for it. Like, you need like a baseline that feels stable, sustainable, like you can govern it. You have time to test it, because it's so fast. The speed of things is so fast. You could spit out 20 things in half the time it took you to build one decent prototype before. And so I think a good tech person doesn't just know the whiz bang part of it. You also need to have sort of the taste and the sense of quality and the reminder for everybody else that this needs to hold. Like, we can't. It's just as easy as it is to make something. It's just as easy to break it.
Well, and one of the things that we announced at PegaWorld, beyond all of like the tech stuff, which is always cool and exciting, was an initiative around a new role that we think is really important for the marketplace. And we're calling it the solution designer. And it kind of speaks to that, Jess, because it's, we used to have business analysts walking around and they would kind of gather what was needed, but then they would just like write it into documents that got handed off to engineering to build, and then people complain because engineering didn't actually build what was anticipated in the document. But I think that gap has really compressed. So having this former business analyst really think of themselves as a solution designer, as somebody who can grab the business and subject matter experts on one side, figure out what you need, and then use these new AI tools. We've got a capability called Blueprint, but obviously everybody's played with things like Claude Code or otherwise, and actually get to a good design and prototype, not the thing you can spit out, but something that people actually agree on and want, and has a specific business need on the other side of it. That skill, which is both a technology set of skills, but it's also a people set of skills, it's a facilitation set of skills, it's business awareness set of skills. I think that kind of cross-disciplinary role is going to be so much more vital as we move into this sort of AI phase that we're all seeing.
Yeah, Don, it's really interesting. My son, who's 21, he's in this new role, called a go-to-market engineer, and working with an AI company down in Austin, Texas. And one of the things he said to me sometime this week, he's like, a huge competitive moat right now is taste. And like anyone can design anything, but as far as like what's good taste, and what does good taste like, and what do you want? He's like, that is a huge difference between a lot of the people he's seeing who can just use Claude Code and actually put something out that is going to be usable, that's going to be lovable, et cetera, et cetera. Is that in that design role also?
Absolutely, right. I think taste, right, in certain elements, especially when you think about marketing, I think when you especially think about design, right, and I think we've all seen that if you look at LinkedIn, like 2/3 of LinkedIn is just AI generated slop that, again, I would love a little more taste sometimes.
Yeah.
But I think taste also could be expanded to say, do you understand the actual business value of what you're doing? Right. The whole reason we have software is because it should do something for our business. It should make our employees happier. It should make our customers better. We don't need to build stuff to build stuff. And I worry that sometimes with this explosion of technology, we're building a lot of crap that maybe we don't need. Yeah. And we're not taking enough time to sit down and say, what's going to actually drive value to our business from an employee perspective, from a customer perspective, from a growth perspective.
I actually just called out in a very loving, respectful way one of my peers who was sort of batting around on LinkedIn who should own buying AI in the enterprise. And his point was sort of like, well, the CTO, obviously, like the pricing models are changing. You have to understand. Oh, Don's refreshing, maybe. I want to make sure he hears the question. But Jason, you'll understand this as well. The way we price AI is also changing. And so sort of understanding the AI, the economics of AI changes the buyer. I can't disagree with that. But instead of deciding who should own the tech purchase because of the economics of the technology and how it's used, I still think we're missing the whole point, which is who owns the outcome.
Yes.
The solution is supposed to deliver.
Yeah, I was about to say the exact same thing to you. I was going to say that the whoever owns the outcome, and that's the person that's going to lose their job.
Yeah.
Right. If they're not successful.
Bob saw who I called out, and I think FinComp would agree. Like, I think we're all sort of trying to say the same thing, which is this technology has different economics. It requires a different way of pricing. It has a different buyer mindset for sure. I wasn't disagreeing with anything he was saying, but again, if we could please shift the who's buying the features of the tech and has to maintain the compliance and the management and the upgrading and the whatever. Yes, yes, yes. I'll do the yes and improv here, but who owns the outcomes and has to deliver on those? If they're not at the buying table, you're never going to get the value.
No, and I think what Dorothy said there about how does taste vary from one person to another, I just want to make sure I cover that. It varies a lot, Dorothy. But and yeah, I was about to give something away. One of our new products, that we're rolling out is a listening tool to understand taste, so that you actually can design in a way that meets people where they are. And it's going to be a lot of different views of it. And Dorothy, as individualization becomes more and more of a thing, we'll be able to actually meet people's taste where they are. But in the meantime, taste is not looking at features. Taste is looking at flows and really what makes those flows come to life for people. So I love that question. Taste varies a lot, and it's going to continue to vary.
Yeah. Yes, Brooke, that gets you excited, huh? A listening tool. Jason, I can't wait till Don gets back on. Maybe he's grabbing a power cord or something. He has a pretty contrarian view about agents and the autonomous enterprise. I know that you, am I spoiling something that you just had Laura on your podcast?
No. I'm dropping a podcast.
Hey there.
I'm dropping a podcast on Monday.
He's back.
I'm back.
From Laura Albert from SAP SuccessFactors.
Yeah.
But go ahead, Jess, continue, and then we'll go back to Don.
Perfect timing, Don, because I want to tease one of your maybe more contrarian views. Everybody's yapping about agents. I think we even kind of predicted 2026 is going to be the year of agents. And
I think it already is.
And so it is. And when I say you have a contrarian view, I don't even want to tease it any more than that. As far as the autonomous enterprise, which is the other theme that's playing out this year, and the role and sort of the possibilities of agentic in that world, what say you? And maybe do a little setup here, because we haven't properly introduced Pegasystems. What does Pegasystems do? And then what's your take on this?
Yeah, so Pegasystems is basically AI software for the decisions and processes that big enterprises can't afford to get wrong. Like, that's basically what we do. Citibank uses us to manage payment exceptions. Verizon uses us to figure out, when to upgrade you to the next iPhone. Like that's the kind of stuff that we do for major clients. And I am fully excited about agents, right? I have plenty of agents that run. I don't name my agents. I actually, one of my contrarian views is I actually think some of the conversation about, like, we start managing agents like people is a little bit off. Like, agents are not, they're software tools. Like, if an agent stops performing, you don't give it a performance review or put it on a severance package. You just shut it down and write a new one, right? Which is very, very different than managing people who have feelings and lives and wants and desires. But I think what we've been trying to do with agents is give our clients some ways to run them predictably, both with predictable outcomes, right? Because if you're going to stick agents into a mission critical process, like how you service your customers, a 95% accuracy rate is a 5% failure rate, and that doesn't work. Mm-hmm. And then increasingly, and one of the timely conversations that we were having at PegaWorld this week is actually about predictable cost, because it's quickly becoming apparent that this stuff isn't free. And, you can burn through a lot of tokens really quickly if you aren't careful and judicious about what you're actually asking the agent to do. Mm-hmm. And so we've been investing a lot of time with our clients on how do we use some of the AI agent capabilities up front to do some of the heavy lifting around redesigning business processes, streamlining and simplifying how work gets done. Like, do that work once early on, and then run the process as repeatably as you can, and only inject agents into the process when you need them to do things only agents can do, like process documents or research a bunch of information or synthesize, previous inputs into the process. So I guess maybe that's a little bit of a contrarian view. I think there are going to be lots and lots of agents, but I also think not everything needs to be an agent in your business. There's sometimes stuff that's just a workflow or a business process, and that's fine.
Yeah, and Don, I actually do think I totally agree. The agent thing is just kind of fun right now. I think that a year from now, we're going to look back at it and be like, that was weird. Giving an agent a name.
And everybody knows that's called anthropomorphizing. And there are pros and cons to doing that. It's one thing to feel familiar, but then that hits the slippery slope very fast.
Hold on. Did you just say everyone knows and I can't even pronounce what you said?
I
did not know that.
You didn't know?
Blah, blah.
Anthropomorphizing. It's like when you build robots that have human smiley faces on them,
Jason,
right? You're making it
on the assembly line you showed us.
Don, here's a stupid human trick. Jess can actually tell you how many letters are in any word.
Yes.
How many letters are in that word?
Oh God, are you gonna make me do that right now? It's like maybe 15. I don't know. I'd have to. As long as I know how to spell it, I can usually tell you how many letters.
And Don, we have Dorothy's one of our big community members, and she actually talked interesting in the chat. She just said there's this discussion about should agents be taxable entities, which we've all heard that discussion that hey, if agents are going to replace humans, who's going to pay the taxes?
So it's funny that you said that, Dorothy, because just this morning I saw Elizabeth Warren I think I was in Substack. I'm not even on X anymore. I was in Substack, and there was a clip of Elizabeth Warren responding to Elon Musk's comment that 50% of jobs could be gone right now if we let AI do what it's going to do. And so her response was, 18, I was close. And so her response was, then we have to tax AI, because if you take 50% of wages out of GDP, out of the economy, out of GDP, like the economic impact of this is such that like you're going to break a whole bunch of stuff that you don't actually want to break. Like we have wage earners to have an economy, to have a middle class, so I understand the argument feels a little complicated.
Well, yeah, I mean, who's gonna pay SpaceX all the money that its valuation supposedly deserves if 50% of the world isn't working, right? Like, there's some of the math of this doesn't hold up to me.
Yeah.
I also think sometimes, Elon says Elon things,
right?
We also could make every car in the world self-driving if we wanted to. The problem is we don't have an infrastructure that allows us to do that. We don't have roads that allow us to do it. We don't have an insurance system that allows us to do it. We don't have a liability system that allows us to do it. And the capabilities with agents, and one of the things that I kind of get maybe a little bit overly frustrated about is we spend a lot of time talking about the model horse race. Right? Well, who's faster this week? Is it Anthropic? Is it the new version of GPT? Is it Google? Who's raising what valuation? The models are fine. The problem is we do not need a better version of Anthropic right now. Most of the people that I talk to, the problem is the actual hard and frankly kind of grindy work of getting people to rethink roles and skills, of redesigning and rethinking business processes, of redesigning orgs and authority structures to actually accommodate faster decision paths that some of these agents allow. Like, that is the hard, grindy work that leaders and enterprises and teams need to go through. And no new model is going to actually accelerate that, right? It's just work that people need to go through. And, the pace of human change, we're just going to have to live with the fact that it's probably a little bit slower than the pace of technology change. And that might actually be a good thing, because that actually might keep a little bit of a leash and a restraint on what some of this technology can do.
I would say it's a lot slower. The tech is galloping away from an organization's ability to absorb change, capabilities to do and then there's humans. Humans need time to process. I think I reached absorption capacity for this week yesterday. I'm still processing. I'm still I would say the tech is 10x our ability to decide what to think, what to do, how to deploy, how to evaluate the outputs of that, how to decide what to sort of land and scale. That, I think that's the big problem we have right now, honestly.
I mean, I'll give you just a real practical example, and this is just a marketing CTO looking at the problem. We had our big tech conference this week, right? I don't know if anybody else has ever done or prepared keynotes for a tech conference, but it takes preparation. You've got speakers, you've got executives, you've got to run through practice, you've got to create assets, you've got to get those assets to production companies, you have to test it on the giant screens, you have to cue it with lights and everything that happens, right? That process, historically, we need to have things like keynotes locked down a week or two before we want to do a big show and a presentation for 4,000 people, right? The problem is we're talking about technology, and 2 weeks now is an incredibly short time in the technology space.
Yeah.
So, trying to have a technology keynote ready 2 weeks before the day you do it means that you actually have something that's outdated by the time you present it. So we had to totally
refuses to give anybody a deck. Refuses for
Yeah.
that very reason.
Yep.
And
Even
conference
though
people,
you've got to test it and dry run it, like all of that. He's like, I don't
conference
care. I'll run it off my
conference
machine.
people hate me, Don.
Yeah.
And I'm like, well, yeah, but I'm going to insert a video. And they're like, well, what video? I'm like, it's going to come out tonight. They're like, what do you mean it's going to come out tonight? I'm like, I guarantee. And by the way, Don, I'm actually attempting I teach at a university, and I'm actually going to teach in a university in the fall semester the exact same way. So I'm not doing a syllabus. I'm not doing a 14-week plan. I'm actually doing it based on the week.
Wow.
But that's exactly the kind of people process thought change that's the stuff that we need, right? How does the pace of how we structure a lesson look like in today's sort of moving economy? How does the way in which we structure and put together presentations, keynotes shift in a world where the thing you're going to say tomorrow may change based on some news today? Those are the kinds of changes that I really am focused on driving. And I think we need to spend more time talking about and less time talking about whether or not Fable is faster than Opus 4.8. I don't really care. I think they're all great. My problem is not that. My problem is, how do I actually get my clients and our teams moving and changing and evolving our processes in a way that keeps up with everything?
And just because Megan said something in the chat, and I want to be empathetic, Megan, I completely understand that it's a pain in the rear to having people.
Megan's a marketer. She's calling us on this.
Changing slides and everything at the last second. I completely understand that. But at the same time, presenting something that's no longer relevant is also really embarrassing for the person that's presenting it.
That's right.
So I think we have to this is not the place to have this conversation, but come to a middle ground. And I'm all for testing audio, and I'm all for testing hardware and all that other stuff. But as far as the content goes, we live in a world where we can't submit slides 4 weeks in advance and then saying, hey, they're locked in stone.
Well, and we worked, we kind of this year, one of the things that we did is I kind of told the team to be ready, right? That, we had a storyline, but we also should be ready for the fact that on the Thursday, the Friday, the Saturday before a keynote that kicks off on Monday, we're probably going to be tweaking. And that is maybe a feature now, not a bug.
Yeah. I didn't even tell you, Jason, this week I spent, so Don, I was with Oracle's HCM user group this week for a couple of days. And my opening keynote was supposed to be interviewing the head of innovation, managing director of the resort property we were on. He ran a huge $140 million reinvention program as soon as he took over, reshaped all their customer experiences, went digital on everything. They gave him the wrong time and he didn't show. So you would be proud of me from an improv standpoint.
Yeah.
Talk to the room. And it was the best conversation we could have had. And then he, they were texting him like, oh my God, can you run over here?
Yeah.
And he showed up late and he walked right into the conversation and just naturally flowed right in. And one of if anybody was in the room with me this week, tell me if I'm wrong. One of the best comments we had was between two people. One loves Waymo, would ride in one every time if she could. And the other one will never get in it. Doesn't think it's safe, doesn't think it's ready. And that whole Waymo conversation was our whole conversation about AI, about why there's two opposite ends of the spectrum on AI. Total improv. Also, a lot of fun to try to manage through. Okay, Don, I do not want to run out of time without asking you the most important question of the entire show.
Yes.
Dad joke you have.
So I dropped this one.
Dad, I might actually have another question. It's not going to be as important.
Jason doesn't want to let go of this conversation
after you answer that one.
So I dropped this one because some colleagues of mine went over on Saturday to see No Doubt at the Sphere in between our sort of preps and practice. So what did the Jewish baker say to Gwen Stefani when she tried to return a stale loaf of bread? There ain't no holla back, girl.
Oh my gosh. Wow.
Yeah, there you go.
Scale 1 to 10. How did he do on that one?
That is good. And there are people that aren't going to even get it.
No.
That is good.
That's so bad.
Yes, that is so bad.
It's definitely bad.
Yes, that is
11. Oh my God, I love it.
So Don, what I don't know is someone who's making a dad joke if you're a dad.
Yes.
One of the things that we talk a lot of in this Now of Work community, and the reason we call it now is because I think that's where we are instead of future. We're in the now. Like, what kind of advice do you give students as far, or kids going to college, or people applying for a job, or what types of people are you hiring today? What skills are you looking for? Because this is a huge topic. I was on a panel earlier this week about early career jobs going away, and that the jobs that were people going to college for aren't the jobs that people are hiring for today. So I don't know if you can talk about that or you have opinions on that, but I'd love
so I may be biased, right? But as somebody who has a degree in physics and philosophy and did tech and also improv comedy, but we had the CEO. We had the CEO of Cognizant, a guy named Ravi Kumar, on stage with our CEO Alan at PegaWorld, and Ravi said something that just really resonated with me, which is the future jobs are interdisciplinary. The future job sets are people who know tech but also know marketing, know marketing but also understand a little bit of finance, understand financial operations in KYC CLM inside of a bank, but also know enough about architecture that they can implement that into a system, right? So I think those interdisciplinary skills, maybe I'm confirming some of my own career background there, so I want to be really careful. But I do think finding people who bring interdisciplinary skills, who know how to sit with one foot in the tech and one foot in the business. I think the places like, to Liz's point, like I actually do think the things you learn in a liberal arts degree, how to think, how to craft an argument, how to persuade other people, I think are going to really matter. And I think especially, it's increasingly easily apparent to me when somebody hands me an argument, a document, a slide deck that was written by AI versus an argument, a document, a slide deck that somebody actually thought through and then maybe used AI to polish or used AI to challenge or used AI to make better, right? And I think the difference between that is so important. So going back to some of those foundational skills, I've always believed, even when I was hiring engineers and, I did a lot of work kind of like your son did as like a client side engineer, a solutions consultant or a sales engineer. And I always looked less for people who knew how to code, because I always figured if you knew how to problem solve, I could teach you the syntax of coding.
Yeah.
But if you know the syntax of coding, but actually don't fundamentally understand how to break down a problem into components and think through it, that is much harder for me to teach you.
That is so well said. Yeah.
Completely. And then you also don't know how to evaluate how good, again, back to taste, to evaluate the quality, like churning out something that can be mass produced, that's actually pretty, sort of mathematical. But being able to understand, is that good? Can that be applied? Did that do the right outcomes? Being able to sort of like quality check that. I think some of the grief and mourning of good software engineers probably comes from, wait, that is an actual skill. It's not just producing the code.
Well, and if you look, the people who are being successful with tools like Claude Code are people who actually already understand how to code. They understand what good code looks like. They understand, again, how to architect it and componentize it and modularize it. And so, my concern, and I don't think we figured out the solution for this, which is, if AI compresses some of those more junior roles and some of those apprenticeship roles that we have, or apprenticeship moments in our careers, how do people actually build out the judgment and the ability, frankly, to have an opinion, so that when they were presented something from AI, they have enough grounding to actually have an opinion and judge it? And I think we need to make sure that we're still building those skill sets up, because having an opinion is going to be so important, and being able to form a well-crafted one.
Yeah, I agree. And I don't know if you're looking at Lynn's comment on the chat. She said, after we've had AI for a decade, is anyone going to be left that knows the difference between AI written argument versus a people written one? I'm afraid that, and I think it's an interesting discussion.
It's already a problem. I literally think about this more than I probably should. There's so much AI to your point, Don, about LinkedIn, but just the interweb of things. There's so much AI generated content out there now, that now AI is collecting and scraping and training on AI. I don't like, how do we know what was ever true and native and novel, and are the roots of anything left, or is AI? And then there's synthetic data. I don't even know what's original source material anymore.
Well, and my optimistic, view on this is that people are going to want stuff that is handcrafted, in the same way that we go to Etsy, right? In a world of disposable fashion and disposable items, we want something that feels unique, that has like a leather tassel on the end of it, right? And is different. And I think, as from a marketing perspective, we have to be really careful, because AI reverts everything to the mean. It kind of sands all the edges off of it, and it kind of comes back to something. And, we need to, I hope that we will continue to push the creativity, because I think that's what's actually going to stand out. What your son called taste, right? That is still going to matter.
So usually Jason asks the big mic drop question with 60 seconds left, but I think Steve just did in the chat.
Yeah.
What can we do? There's 5 AI companies that are doing all this madness, and he says 3,000 people who are truly sort of driving this. What can the masses of us actually do? Isn't the genie well out of the bottle? Isn't this already happening?
I think it is, and I think sometimes that can be scary and depressing. I come back, God, this is going to seem, I hope this doesn't seem pompous, but I come back to one of the things Voltaire says at the end of Candide, where he talks about tending your garden. Right? Tend your garden. Take care of the people that are close to you. Grow and cultivate the things that matter to you, in yourself, in your teams, in the people you work with. There is a lot of, I say there are all these big questions around AI, right? Is it safe? What happens to society? What happens with all of these, centralized controls?
Yeah.
And they are important, but they're also the real questions about AI. How do our teams show up every day? How do we show up and help shepherd people through what's going to be probably the biggest transition in our career? How do we make sure that we are holding true to the things, the humanity that really matters to us? And I think that's what we have to focus in on. I think that's what's our job as leaders. That's, I think, also, frankly, just as a business person, I think that's where I can add value to my clients and to their business.
I love that. Thank you.
That's the mic drop right there.
I know. Totally. Don, I know it's your wellness day and you deserve it after this week. Congrats on an incredible customer event. And all
Thank you.
messaging. I read everything on your website. You had some great, cool headlines and announcements and stuff this week. So can't wait to continue watching your success. I hope you'll come back and visit with us again.
Well, thank you all very much. Sorry for the Wi-Fi hiccup, but it was great to improv. It was great to speak to everybody. Have a great weekend, all.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. Thanks for being here, Don. Take care, everyone.
Bye.
See you next week.
Have a good weekend.